We've been on the search for the elusive sharp-tailed grouse, and finally a couple showed up here. Ha! Oh, this is awesome. You know, it would be nice if they sort of moved a little bit or just turned or something like that so I can get some side pictures. Do you think? What should we do? That's better, I guess. It'd be nice if it was a little brighter. Is it always this dark? Like I just feel it's. Is that can we just make it a little bit brighter? Is that bright enough for you? Hey folks, Kerry from Right Choice Realty here on Parkbench Wainwright, and today I've got the distinct pleasure of being with my brother Sheldon Frissell, involved in the Wainwright Wildlife Society, and we're going to talk a little bit about some upcoming events and some things that you might be interested in. So welcome, Sheldon.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this. How did you become involved in sharing this passion that you have with wildlife?
Well, I grew up enjoying life at the cabin. We had a cabin at the local lake where I learned to fish, and I did a little bit of hunting at home. My goal was always to be a conservation officer, but the lack of jobs kind of changed my mind, and I got into education. I went through and picked up my degree in education and took up a job at the Irma School just up the road. Part of my experiences led them to giving me a teaching assignment of outdoor education.
Nice.
But I really didn't get it at that point until I joined the Alberta Hunter Ed Instructor Association. We call that AHIA. They are a rockin' and rollin' group of volunteers that will not quit helping to make wildlife and wild places part of each Albertan's value system. And I think I believe at least that there's no other organization that comes close in Alberta or even in Canada to teaching youth about the beauty and the importance of wisely managing our native species and their habitats. So AHIA taught me the importance of sharing, and from there I just kind of threw that over onto our youth, and I then teamed up with Laurence Hoover at the time. He's the president of the Wainwright Wildlife Society, and we began to take the Irma students out to view the sharp-tailed grouse dance.
Fun.
Yeah.
And they're able to get up. I know it's an early morning expedition, right?
Yes,
so
it
they
is.
would meet. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the grouse dance is done on a piece of kind of sacred native pasture. And the male sharptails, they gather there in the spring at the traditional spot. We call that a lek, and they perform their courtship dance. Tours are open to the public. We leave, like Gary said, early in the morning, and we venture out to the local lek, and it's from there we walk out to some blinds and we view them. Some photographers also join us, and just wildlife enthusiasts. And then we often go back and have breakfast and share other ideas and things we've learned about wildlife.
Fair enough. Fantastic. Now, I've been on the tour as well, and it's very cool. And you were telling me at one time that these leks are sort of sacred ground. The birds come back every year. And if they build a parking lot on where a lek was,
well, the birds are going to want to dance there. Unfortunately, with parking lots come other distractions, and eventually the birds don't tolerate a lot of distractions. So eventually they'll lose that lek and their opportunity to have another place for those native birds to reproduce.
Right.
It'll be a sad day for them. But it happens all the time with loss of habitat, with farmland and other man things that have encroached.
right. So there's a lek close to here. There's probably several leks close to here. Is that safe to say?
Yes, it is safe.
And so you've chosen a few that you have access to, I guess?
Correct.
We sneak in early in the morning. Tell us just a brief description of that.
Well, we want to get there before sunrise. We go about an hour before sunrise so we don't disturb anything. We very quietly, we talk about the ethics involved, and we quietly make our way into the blinds where we sit quietly, and the birds roll in, and if there are a few that kind of walk in and they do their dance and perform, and we stay there for a few hours until the majority of that activity is gone and the birds have left, and at that point we come out of the blinds and and we reminisce.
Go for a coffee and discuss.
Yeah.
Very cool. It is something you should try at least once because it's very cool to see. Wainwright Wildlife Society, I know you're involved in that and you've got a big passion with that as well. You have an event coming up on April 18th, correct?
That's correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. The Wildlife Society began in the mid-'80s, and they're just a group of volunteer wildlife enthusiasts. They've done lots of projects in the Wainwright area. We work with the youth, we work with the 4-H in the schools and stuff. But on the 18th, we have a special thing. We're going to partner up with the Battle River Group. And they are the people that hosted the first grouse symposium in Alberta last year in Camrose.
Yeah.
Went over really well, and because of that, it's going to be an exciting and an informative event that we're going to call Grouse Symposium 2. And we're going to bring in presenters from Camrose and from afar, and some local people. We're going to hold it at the Wainwright Legion in the provincial building here in town. There's going to be workshops involved. There's going to be wildlife photography sessions with Peter Ludman. There's going to be a workshop on the writing rural, and that's with the Battle River Writing Group, Writing Center. There's going to be a Spirit of the Land presentation with Global Energy. And in the afternoon, we're going to gain some Indigenous Cree knowledge about grouse. And they're going to come in and talk to us about Cree rituals. Maybe we'll get to take part in some of those. We're going to hear from a U of A professor and a student, Stephanie Thunberg, on their fall sharp-tailed grouse study, which should be exciting.
Cool. Yeah.
We've got a presentation of grouse of Alberta. And so that means that not just the sharp-tails, but there's also spruce and blue and sage and other grouses that we're going to learn about. The famous Myrna Pierman, she's the biologist from the Ellis Bird Farm. She's going to present on the status of grouse here in Alberta.
Population, that kind of thing?
Exactly,
Yeah?
and the trending population runs. Glenna Smith will present on the Meeting Creek Trail system. There's going to be Janet N. She's the grouse point person for the Battle River Group, and they're going to share what they've learned from all kinds of people that have contributed to their knowledge of the grouse in the Battle River area. And also there's going to be some music, some art, displays, taxidermy, food, much, much more.
Wow.
It's going to be great.
That is a grousely filled day.
Absolutely will be. Absolutely.
Very cool. So how do we sign up? So somebody who might be interested in the tour would do this. Somebody interested in the symposium on April 18th would do, tell me a little bit about that.
We run our tours mid-April to mid-May. You can contact Randy Ash, myself, or Lawrence Hoover. We're the ones that guide the tours. And we can set you up with all the information and the dates and get booked
Okay,
for that.
because there is a little cost there too.
That's correct. It's $25 for adults and $15 for students.
Okay.
As far as the symposium goes, you can contact myself and I can share any answers to questions you might have. At that time, we'll sign you up for any of the workshops you're interested in. And it's a free day. The only thing that'll cost you is the beef on the bun supper at the end. So it's going to be wonderful.
Perfect. Well, we will post that information at the end of this video. But if you'd like more information on that and taking one of the tours, which I would definitely suggest that you do, and take part in the Grouse Symposium on April 18th, make sure you check out that info and give them a call and get on that. If you'd like to have a video business or an event on Parkbench Wainwright, please let me know. Ken and I love doing these, so we would be happy to hear from you. Thanks, Sheldon, for doing this.
Thank you. I love you almost as a brother, buddy.
Thanks. Until next time, have a great day.